Again, what you resist persists. What you look at disappears. So in this moment, what is helpful is to look at clearly the emotion and the belief. And as you clearly look at it without judgment, without wanting to get away with it, get away from it, it disappears and you dissolve right back into your being. And that's where what you have been seeking is found. That's what it means to find everything you're looking for in yourself. So, for example, an emotion comes up of let's say, guilt. And it said, I shouldn't have done that. And I feel guilty. Okay, well, first is to say, okay, first of all, let me investigate the emotion, the sensation. Because emotion are the thoughts embodied. So, okay, some sort of belief is informing this emotion. And just for that moment to come out of the continuity, instead of worrying about the belief, where this is coming from, if you can remove all thoughts of past and future around this emotion, which is a bit paradoxical because I was just saying that, yes, the belief created the emotion, and the emotion is the doorway into the belief. So instead of going into the emotion to find the belief, which is a subtle way of can be used as a subtle way of wanting to get rid of the emotion, that'll keep it around, is let me explore this emotion to really see if this guilt is a threat, if I need to get rid of it. And perhaps I'll even investigate to see if it's really guilt, or if that's also a learned way of reacting to this. So I might tune in and go, oh, I feel something in my solar plexus, my gut. And I tune in and go, what is there? And I go, it feels heavy. And using these kind of words, I just investigate, is that true? Okay, it feels heavy, but heavy is relative. I only know heavy because I know light. If I lived in a world where this was as light as it got, then I would say this is light. So that's not the deepest truth, and that's what we want to get to. They say the truth will set you free. That's 100% true. What is true feels liberating and light. What is based in illusion, which has to be based in separation, feels like heaviness, contraction, these sort of things. So, okay, well, without this story of heaviness, what else is there? Muscles contracting, maybe a type of energy, a type of vibration, a type of movement. Okay, so just for a moment, can you get so curious about and really dissect what is actually here that I'm afraid of? Because this is the most challenging part for most people. Your heart might be racing, and without a story, it's aliveness, energy, tightness, and solar plexus, heart beating. And as soon as we start getting to the deeper truth, the more clear truth of our experience, we can say, is this truly a threat to me? Do I need to get rid of this? Is my survival at stake? Is it killing me? Is it putting an end to my existence? Or can I just be with it? Just for this moment, can I be with it? That's the first box you want to check. You don't want to rush that period. You want to really sit and go, yeah, I can be with this. Meaning, I don't need this to change. I'm okay experiencing this. And that's you getting really close to it. Now you can start the journey of going back and go, okay, first let me notice that I am the one that is observing. This is kind of step one, the observer. I am the one observing the emotion. So just for a moment, then you step back. Okay, there is the tightness and the racing and the thoughts. Okay, I am observing. So instead of going, I'm guilty, you start shifting to, I notice the body feeling guilt. Or in this case, I notice tightness in the gut. Not I am tight. I notice, I can see the body has tightness. Create a little distance. And then from there, you can take one of the thoughts, and you want to use the one that is most charged, meaning most painful. It might be, I shouldn't have acted that way in front of my children. And you really look at it, I shouldn't have acted that way in front of my children. And you question it. Is it true? Is it true? What is the proof? That's a great question to ask. What is the proof that I shouldn't have done that when I did do that? How can I prove to someone that that moment should not have happened if it did happen? And what does that mean? Well, I mean, have you ever went back to a moment and changed the moment? I'm not talking about your perception of the moment, but something called a moment out there, a past? No. You can't. So reality says it had to happen because it did. I shouldn't have done that because it's going to hurt or harm them. What we question, I shouldn't have argued in front of my children because it's going to hurt or harm them. Can you know that to be true? And if that's true, how could you know that that makes you wrong or bad? Because the only reason that you wouldn't want to hurt or harm the child or have them feel hurt is because you have this thought, well, then that would make me a bad parent, a bad person, or this or that. So now you're ascribing to this belief that says parents need to never hurt their children. And what's the reality of the planet? Do children feel hurt by their parents? Yes. And of course, the ultimate truth is the parents, and in this case, I'm talking about verbally, I'm not talking physically, the parents aren't directly hurting children. They've never directly hurt children. Children assume beliefs and they perceive reality in a certain way based on the conditioning of their mind, and they don't have the tools at that age to question their thinking. So they just assume, oh, this person's mad and it's my fault, or I did something wrong and it's because there's something wrong with me. And I would say kids are the best narcissists because they make everything about themselves, but that's what happens because their identity is forming. So they have to relate to the world to build this identity structure and saying, this is me, this is me, this is me, and who am I and what am I? And that's the kind of our first phase of development, largely until 7 or 8. So you start to question the beliefs that you're holding on to. Is it true? Can I know for certain that that's true? And if it's negative and it's true to you, all that means is you're not ready to let go. Meaning there's an identity that says, no, I can't let this go. It is true. I shouldn't have done that. And you're welcome to. But then you can ask yourself, what is the result? How do I act when I believe that I am bad, that I shouldn't have done that? And then you could see all of the self-destructive patterns. I drink, I run away, I avoid, I feel guilty, and therefore I project and this and that. Okay, well, that's the effect of believing that thought. So how is it good? How is it positive? How does it serve you to believe that thought, to continue to hold on to it? And some people need to get to a really high amount of pain to finally sit in the discomfort of, it's not true. They hurt me. They attacked me. They're responsible for my suffering. It's not true. And the ego really doesn't like that, but it's up to you to then, as those emotions come up, go right back in. Can I be with it? Is this a threat to me? That's the ego dying. As soon as you start to see that these thoughts, this automatic conditioning of your mind, the thoughts are not true, they're lies, they've been passed down for thousands of years, then it starts to open and open. That's where I like to start with most people, because once the thoughts are not believed, then you get to see what's underneath the thoughts. And what's underneath the thoughts is pure being, consciousness, awareness. And what is the nature of awareness? Perfectly peaceful, still, free, vast, open, here and now. And so that's how you end up feeling on the other side of these thoughts. And so it's an indirect way to that awareness. The most direct way is I can ask you, are you aware? And then something happens. You don't get an image. You don't need to think about it.